Hey everybody, welcome to another Tuesday night stream. It's Bits and Pieces. Let me pop this on right here. Hey, how's everybody doing? Hope you're doing good. And I know if you didn't catch me on Sunday during my brief Into the Breach gameplay, I hope you had a good Christmas if you celebrated it. And this will be the last live stream of 2020 for me, if you can believe that. So, yeah. So actually, tonight we're going to be doing, as the title implies, again, we're making a music track here. Okay, this one's a little bit different. It's not going to be building off of what we did last week. I was happy with that. We're going to step away from that one for now, and I have an idea for this one. So I'll kind of show you. I created like a series of simple notes for right now, and we're going to kind of just build off of that, so I have something to go off of. So what we're going to do, let's see. There we go. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple of announcements first, which is awesome. Okay, first and foremost, most importantly, um, I didn't really go over this on Sunday just because that stream is still picking up. This one's a little bit busier, but I actually got engaged to my girlfriend. I proposed on Christmas, and she said yes. So I'm pretty excited. We're all really excited. I've got a lot of people really happy, a lot of friends and family and everybody. So that's really exciting. We haven't really picked out a wedding date or anything like that yet. I know everything going on with the pandemic kind of holds everything up, but very excited, and her daughter is also very excited. So I'm really happy about that. If you're just tuning in, um, the other thing. Oh, hey, thank you, Scout and Crow, my buddy Scout and Crow over here. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy. I was nervous, even though I knew the answer was going to be yes. I was still really nervous about asking, and but hey, we're here, right? I didn't pass out, and I didn't get too nervous to not ask, so that's pretty awesome. And then the other thing I was just going to show everybody a picture of is I know I should probably show pictures of the engagement ring and stuff, but I'm not going to do that. Um, just in case my girlfriend doesn't want to be on camera. But what I am going to do is show you a picture. She has a dog, or it's going to be our dog at some point when we, get married and everything. But her dog's name is Bailey, and her birthday was on the 22nd. And Bailey's like a terrier mix. She looks always depressed all the time. Just that's how she was. She's a rescue animal. We got her from the SPCA, and she got for her quote unquote birthday slash Christmas present, she got groomed, and you can see she's very happy about that. She hates going to places. Um, she doesn't really like going to the vet. She doesn't like going to grooming places. She gets very upset and anxious if we leave. So it was a little bit tough, but they said she was really well behaved, so that's good. But that's one happy dog, and the bandana is now staying because that was something that's pretty new. So yeah, so there's the old doggo. All right, so what we're gonna do tonight is similar to how we normally do this. If this is your first time joining, first of all, thank you so much for hopping on. What I do is, for those of you who don't know me, I am Bits and Pieces. That's my musician name, but you can just call me James. I don't really care. But I'm a musician, video game musician by it's really a hobby, but I'm starting to pick up some work on the side. So it is turning into something a little bit more legitimate. It's a slow burning process. We'll have another chat for that another time. But what I've decided to start doing is moving into Twitch to start streaming some of my music. And in this case, what we do on Tuesday nights is we start making a music track, and you're able to you can kind of just give me some of your input as we're doing this. And then towards the end, after we've done a little bit of making that music and making some progress, then we'll listen to a couple of tracks that I've already made. We'll talk about those for a little bit, and then we'll kind of go from there. The other thing I'm going to start doing, I started doing now with my streaming software, is I started recording these. So that way, at the end of this, I'll post it up, and once it's all recorded, I'll put it up on YouTube. Which, before we get started on the music, I do need to tell you as well. You'll see my YouTube channel has been pretty lacking in the video content, and I've actually cut out a ton of videos. for now, I'm just going to stick with doing live streams. I've decided against keeping all of my music up there. I've got some of it, but I don't want all of my entire works up there for people to see. Just kind of decided to go that route. But all right, let's go ahead and get started. Let me know if you have any problems hearing. I've got my chat open here, so feel free to pop in and say hello. If you're watching and you're too shy, I promise I don't bite. Yeah, I have this honestly oddly named brand new nonsense, and why I called it that was I made this up over the weekend. Um, and we're gonna listen to just what these sound like first, and then I'll show you where I've just got them placed. And this is the first, I think, 5-10 seconds of this track, and then we're gonna build off of this together. Okay. So, like I said, feel free to hop in if you haven't already. You can say hi. But all right, so this is all I came up with. It's very similar. The sound you're going to hear, it sounds like one of the instruments or sounds I grabbed from the Isolation EP that I released in November. So it is a little bit similar, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and listen. Okay, so that's all I have. I made this up over the weekend. I decided at that point, let's make another track together, but let's make something a little bit different. The last one we did, it's just about finished. There's a couple little tweaks, but admittedly, with the holiday, I hadn't even really looked at it and listened to it. I decided to try something new tonight. So this is all we have right now. So that's literally the sounds we have. And I might change that a little bit. Okay, so that's just the basic intro to this. This could be used later into this track. Okay, we could implement this throughout. This is at 160 beats per minute. So obviously you want to keep everything at 160 beats per minute. So there's a couple ways to start this. There's no wrong way. If you've never made music before, there are no wrong techniques, I would say, or I would argue personally, of where to start. Some people start with making that intro sound like that. Sometimes I'll start with making the drums. Sometimes I'll start making the melodies and then building them all up on top of each other. In this case, I think for right now, I believe the bass would probably be a good way to start. It doesn't have to be from the 8-bit sound. I mean, we could, but let's just see. Oh, let me hang on a sec. There we go. Let me turn that up just a hair. There we go. So let's just grab a bass sound for right now, okay? Yeah, see, that's a little too. So for me, that's a little too basic. It sounds too basic. So let's try something else. And one of the things, if you're just joining, if you never joined one of these before, you may hear me repeatedly listening to the music over and over again. That's going to maybe come off as insane or like, what are you doing? That's how my brain is starting to fill in the sounds. So when I'm making something live like this, I start listening to ways I can add the bass. Do this one more time. Okay, let's see if that works. This can change if we don't like it. I don't know how I feel about that yet. Or it's missing something. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Again, we might change the sound of that bass, but let's just use that as a foundation. Oh, and then very important, I said this in prior streams. This is a program called Rhythmic Studio, and it's pretty, I love it. I do like what it can do. It is limited with only these 4 channels, but sometimes it doesn't like to behave, just as with all technology. So once in a while, it decides not to work, and then if I don't save my music, I get sad. So. See, I might change that bass, but that's a start. Okay. So the other thing I'm doing is, do you see all these color codes up here? I'm trying to keep everything organized. So I want the bass and most of the blues, and then I want this sound in the grays, and then this one will be the drums. Drums. Probably going to be too loud. You know how I am if you haven't listened to my stuff before. I'm a sucker for this rock snare, but we might be able to toy around with that too. So let's see now. Okay, let's try that now. All right, that might work for now. Hey, I see a few people, more people hopping in. Thank you so much again if you're just joining us for the stream tonight. I'm making a music track live, so feel free to hop in and say hi if you want to. But yeah, we're just going to keep powering through here. All right, now let's think about a melody. What kind of melody can we possibly enter in here? There are so many possibilities. That's the toughest part. I don't want to go the wind or vocal route. That's a little bit rough, but for this. Hmm. Okay, then let's add a little bit of reverb. I could make it more delay. A little loud. Thanks, Scott and Krusty. All right. Okay, now normally I do like a more rock, like a rock sound, but let's see. Every two. Okay. This is more like, almost kind of sounds like a punk, something you hear out of like a punk song. But that's okay. Let's see if it works. But one of the things, so we have this, okay, but as you know, if you don't know me, I have to add a cymbal somewhere, a cymbal crash. What are we going to do? It's got to be a cymbal crash because that's kind of what separates it. But let's find, you know what? Let's find something in here instead. Yeah. Those are a little rough. Oh, that's pretty nice. It's a little heavier, but. All right, let's see what happens now. We can do a couple variations with this too, okay? So let me think about this. Okay. Now we have something to kind of go off of here. Let me save it again because I'll always cry. So what can we, let's see what we can add here, okay? Let's change the pitch a little bit. sounds too reminiscent of another track. Hang on. Ah, nice. I see the Silent U has just followed me. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. Hey, the Silent U, how are you? Bitwig, do you mean by Bitwig, do you mean the program that I'm using? This one is called Rhythmic Studio, believe it or not. Billy Crab in our Discord channel calls me the mad scientist because, as you can see, there are only got 4 channels to deal with. That's it. I've tried to ask the developer 4,000 times in the past 4 years to please give me a more robust DAW in this program to give me like 16 channels, but I only have 4. So I'm called the mad scientist because I make a lot of, like, just about all of my music out of this DAW, and people don't believe me when I start until I start showing them what I do to put in. So this one gives you a variety of different sounds. I'll show you real quick. We can get things from dubstep, 8-bit, world, etc. And then I have the option over here. I can insert some of my own samples. I really haven't experimented too much. There are a couple of tracks that I've done where I've inserted my own vocals and things to make it work nice. But yeah, you can really just do pretty much. They just give you a bunch of stuff to work with, so it's pretty cool. I like it. Let's think about this. Doesn't really work too well either. Don't worry about the blips. We can fix this sound too, but I'm just trying to get a good, like, kind of supplement to this. All right, so. idea. So hang on, we'll hang on to that for right now. Don't mind me just making some backup drums. Okay. All right. So if you have not joined my stream sessions before, one of the things you'll know is, and this is anybody that makes music or has made music or knows somebody, sometimes building these can kind of just like click and you'll start building them really great and you'll make a ton of progress. Sometimes it'll take a little bit of time to work on it. And this is one of those cases where I have no shame in admitting this one's a little bit tough because I really don't rehearse this prior to the live stream. Other than creating these first three sounds here, four sounds, right up here, I don't do any rehearse or have much of an idea. I just try to do it live to show you. My goal is to show you how the mind works when you're composing. So, and how that can kind of help out a little bit in maybe your creative process. Maybe it's something that you haven't thought about before. If you're making music, or if you're thinking about it, maybe you haven't taken the step yet. So, step to doing so. But that's what I wanted. Okay. Nice and silent. Yeah, believe it or not, um, my nephew's 10 right now, but he no, he's 11 this year. Geez, I forgot what year it was. He actually he loves video games, like loves them. To like, I mean, he kind of reminds me when I was 4 years old. I was like obsessed with video games in my early childhood. I loved them so much. I really liked the music. I didn't think he'd like this type of music. And then I found out, like, after I started doing this a few years ago, he was actually starting to follow my streams and watch my YouTube channel and pick up on this kind of music. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to bring this to the new generation that maybe isn't too aware of it. They may be like, "Oh, I know what Mario is," or "Oh, I know that sound from wherever, Castlevania," but they may not like understand or really get an like appreciation that those seemingly simple sounding 8-bit sounds can really be brought to. There's so much more complexity that can be put into something that seems so simple, and it's awesome. Oh, let's try this. Yeah, 4 channels. I'm telling you right now, if you see Billy Crab in Discord or in any live stream, just say, "Hey, what do you think of Bits and Pieces 4 channel streams?" and just see what he says. It's pretty funny. I'm telling you, like you'll see. This one again because it's like a live stream. We're just starting. It's gonna probably start off seemingly simple, but as we start layering more, and then when I show towards the end of the stream, these streams, by the way, they're not terribly long. I know tonight I admittedly don't have a whole bunch of time. Yeah, the same approach, definitely. Um, I don't have as much time as normal. I forgot I have a previous engagement about 8:30. So which is about it's about 45 minutes from my time. So we will start finishing working on this. Oh, FL Studio, no hey, no, there's no FL Studio. No shame in FL Studio. I agree. I actually don't use it. I probably could if I really figured it out. I just got Ableton or Ableton Lite. So again, I keep telling myself I need to spend time with it, and I spent a little bit of time, but I have to spend more time to see if I like it. But I got it for free, so I really can't complain. But I heard FL Studio is really good, so they can do a lot for you. Okay. We'll see if this works. Now, these are a little bit loud, so I may actually adjust these, but we'll find out soon. Let's just hear what this sounds like to see, can we tie this in at a later point? Yeah, we can. We can. Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. People are keep asking me why am I not straying from the path? And I'll admit part of it is I've had this is a special place in my heart for some reason. This is like the program that got me hooked. And in all honesty, I like to push the envelope a little bit as far as like people are like, oh, you need the nicest DAW and you need the nicest programs and everything else to make the best music. Nah, I don't know if I believe that. I know some, I've heard some music out there that's not that great. They use all these like really expensive like Logic Pro X and all blah blah. And then I use this little thing. And yeah, I'll admit not all of my music's that not all of it's that great. There are things that can always be improved upon. Yeah, right. But then there are some that we'll listen to later tonight in a little bit, and you're gonna be like, "What? How did you fit this all in here?" And there's like a whole method and challenge of making it all work, and I appreciate that challenge to limit myself, but definitely. All right, let me. I want to adjust this a little bit. It's a little too loud. Okay. So what else do I want to put in here now? Oh, okay, so I might have just figured this out too. Whoops. Let's hear that again. Okay. Again, I haven't added any crazy like reverb or anything to this yet, and we can kind of play around with that a little bit. I just want to see if this works. Again, nothing is finalized here, everybody. So if you're you're watching and like, oh great, he's just gonna keep continuing this on. No, this is to help build some stuff, and then we can go back and make some changes. I just want to see if this all sounds okay. So we might have to change that guitar a little bit, but we're making some progress. So to think that we started right here, I don't even know how many seconds this is, but we've already come a pretty decent way. And that's the thing about this too. Sometimes we'll make pretty significant progress. We might make like 30 seconds in a night. Sometimes we might only make 15 seconds. Sometimes we'll go back and revisit, and it may seem like we don't make quote unquote progress lengthwise. But remember, it's mostly a lot of times it can be quality over quantity. Not all the time. Sometimes you do want to set like a challenge for a time limit, or if you're working for a client that they want a specific time limit, you really have to keep strict adherence to that time limit so they don't owe you more money, and so that they get what they paid for and you don't lose business. So let's listen to this. It is missing something here, but I'm gonna add that too. So not too shabby, but let's go ahead and let's play around with this a little bit. We don't want that. You don't want that much reverb. That's a little bit rough. So let's see if this one works. Okay. It's a little quiet, so. Let me try this one. All right, so we'll have to play around with this a little bit. But you kind of see where I'm getting at. I may have to bring this back, like kind of making it sound like it's behind the next set of guitars, or I might do the other way. I might make this go in the back. If you're listening with headphones, you should hear it. It's almost sounding like it's kind of behind you right now, so it's not. I don't want it too far back, but It might work. Let's see. All right, so we still have a little bit of tweaking to do, but that's okay. That's okay. We're getting there. We're making some nice progress. So. Haha. I don't know if I like that there. Hang on. Okay. I'm liking where this is heading. Again, we may tweak this, so please don't feel like, oh, we're stuck with this. That's the beauty of making music. We can switch some of this around. But I do think, okay, I do think that we've made some decent progress. Like I said, I start this typically at 7:15 p.m. Eastern time, and for about 45-ish minutes we work on this, and then I start listening to some more music. Like we'll listen to a couple of tracks. So what we'll do is we will, for right now, for this stream, we'll go ahead and kind of stop where we are, and then when we pick up next week, we'll continue. I know I said about 8:30. This will give us time if anybody hops in and has any questions, but we can also listen to just a couple of tracks that I've worked on in the past. So we've saved that. Let me make sure again. I know I just saved it, but I have this like really bad problem where if I don't save, I'm not sure, I get really nervous. Okay, so let me think about, okay, here's one. Are you stream on Twitch permanently? We're still, you know what? Honestly, I'm Scott and Crow. I'm thinking about sticking over to Twitch. Facebook's, it works for some people. I've seen it work. I will say I've actually had more folks hop on here and kind of participate. And again, it depends on the night. I know it's a holiday week, so some people are probably still prepping for New Year's Eve and all that fun stuff. But I've kind of migrated over here, so I might try back and forth again. I might try it, but so far I've been enjoying Twitch a little bit more. It seems to work out more nicely with my OBS Studio program. Great question, though. All right, so let's go ahead and this one is off my third album. This one is called. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, definitely. And the same for you. If you ever change anything, just let me know, and I'll make sure that I update any of my channels. Okay, so like any of my links and things, so everybody knows where to go. So this one is the third. The is it the ninth track for my third album, Upgrade Complete. Okay, this one is called. This one is called the. Oh my gosh, is that sad that I'm not remembering? I'm drawing a blank. Let me think about that real quick. Oh, okay. This is the Path to Victory, of course, because there's two of them that sound very similar. So this is blending rock with chip tunes, and this was the whole project was meant to do this, was to blend the chip tune sounds with the rock and roll, not rock and roll, but like rock guitar and snares. So let's give this one a listen. Yeah, so that was the Path to Victory, which is what I want you to imagine. This whole soundtrack, or this whole, I should say, album, is essentially set up like a soundtrack to a video game from like the SNES era. Yeah, so it it's meant to, this is meant to be kind of like a um it's meant to be kind of like a final level that you're going through. That's kind of where it's leading up to. Paul, I see you say I have my VCV rack track I'm working on running. Makes for an interesting tune. Awesome. Yeah. No, it really does. There's so much. I barely even scratched the surface really with VCV rack, but I know I have a couple of friends back in New York when I lived up there that were really like saying, "Oh, you could do so much with it." So I really that's my next big investment at some point after I buy a house and get married, all that fun stuff that's coming up in the next several months or so. Eventually, I need to get a new or updated rig. I need to update my PC because I need it to do a little bit more than what I can currently do with it. The more power, the better. So, um, been there, done that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had this one built for me a few years ago by one of my friends before he passed away, and it's been doing a great job. It's really held up the test of time, but I know it's geez, it's just going on 4 or 5 years old right now. I think it's going on 5. So it's again, it's got a nice 7, all that fun stuff, but it still needs a little bit of tweaking before I can do everything I need to do. But all right, so we heard that one, and let's see. Oh, okay. We'll do two more tracks. Okay. Now I may have shared this on a previous stream when I was on Facebook, but that's okay because a lot of people aren't going over there to watch that when I pre-recorded it. So this one is off of my piano slash chiptune project. So there's a separate project I'm doing where I'm blending the actual piano sounds with chiptune. I'm combining them into a like a working essentially what you want you to imagine as like an RPG soundtrack. So let's give this a listen here. This one's pretty intense. This one's pretty cool. So this is like a battle track. So imagine you're playing an RPG and you encounter just a random battle. This is what you'd hear. So pretty short to the point, but this is set up that you can loop it. So you can keep playing this over and over and it won't sound off. I know I mentioned this in a previous stream. My biggest pet peeve in games, from a musical standpoint, is when they're playing a really good track, like a music track, and then instead of actually making it like loop and putting it in a good spot, you can kind of clearly tell where they like cut it and then they just re-entered it. And I hate that. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. It's very similar to, somebody who really maybe doesn't like, I don't know, like they don't like things unstraightened. Like folks that like if the picture's tilted off a little bit and they have to fix it. I feel like that with music in a lot of games when I hear it and it just abruptly ends, then it just plays the song over again, or it fades out and then it fades back in and plays it. I hate that. I'd rather have it just keep looping in an appropriate place whenever it's possible. But for this track, my favorite part is really at this part right here when the pianos kind of drop. So, oops, right here. Sorry, lost my spot. Right here, I love when this is the spot that I feel like really draws out the oomph of this track. So that piano, those little like kind of dark pianos there. In the blue. Let's see. Okay. So I got a lot going on here. I had to create a piano piece, okay, and I have it set as a chord. So I had to kind of manipulate some areas with chords. And then in between those, kind of create a kind of a solid note here. So. So what I have been doing, I'm going to just create a duplicate so I can mess around with it without breaking anything and ruining the track. But what I had been doing was this isn't what the piano sounded like initially. It was all full. So. That's what it sounded like, and then I had to manipulate it a little bit. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. The stuff you can do in this little program that a lot of people are like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. Yeah, it's pretty small. So we're gonna do this track next. I've showed with you. Okay, so I like to blend chiptune with rock. I've blended chiptune with piano, but I also sometimes like to just push the envelope. How far can I go just doing 8-bit sounds? Now, when I say that, it doesn't mean I can't add reverb, and it doesn't mean I can't add certain effects to kind of draw those out a little bit. So I keep those 8-bit sounds, but I still add a couple of modern, like little effects to them to make them still sound a little bit more, you know, 21st century-ish to a point. So let's give this one a listen. This one's actually, even though I have it called Random Stuff, this one's actually called Mean Streets. This has not been released on any like album or anything. It's just a project, an 8-bit project that I'm compiling as well. That's been kind of pushed to the wayside, but we still have it here. So let's give this one a listen. All right, so yeah, that one, where the influence, if you kind of, if you have the same kind of imagination. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. Yeah, um, kind of reminds me of some of the old beat 'em ups, the old, think of like Double Dragon or those kind of like brawlers. So that's kind of where I got that. Like, yeah, this sounds like it could belong that. A lot of people were telling me that those who I've shared this with previously, they like those kind of what they're calling like those punchy drums. They have that kind of punch to it. So again, tried to manipulate this in such a way that yeah, you can hear some reverb and things that you may not have heard on a Nintendo cartridge, but they didn't really have the ability to do that too much. But I still tried to keep it modernized enough. But it's still bringing you back. I want to bring the listener back to the um, to that wildlife. Tyler, I am not ditching you. Tyler is the one I'm playing. I'm gonna be playing some games via Skype tonight. Yeah, thanks, Tyler. Put me on the spot. Um, for those of you who don't know, which because I don't talk about this on stream, but I've got some really awesome friends back home in New York. I live in Florida now, and we actually have some Skype game nights sometimes. And I clearly told Tyler between 8:15 and 8:30, and it is now 8:16, but that's okay. We're gonna listen to one more track, Tyler. So feel free to join if you want to. We'll talk about it, and then we'll kind of go from there. So let me think. We listened to we listened to a couple of them that were the piano chip tune. We listened to the rock, and now we listened to the Pixel. The Pixel. Yeah, look, even Scott and Crow sang one more, Tyler. So, um, yeah. So just keep that in mind. Let me think about one more. Let's see. I'm still saving. I know I mentioned this last week. There's going to be a stream in the next couple of weeks where I will have a stream solely dedicated to a separate project that I've worked on that I'd like to kind of go over with everybody. I made a video about it like years ago, a couple years ago, but I think it'd be an interesting, interesting, means to do that. But let's go ahead. We're going to listen to one more. Is this the one I want? Yeah. Okay. This is going to be the last track we'll listen to tonight. This is also off the piano chiptune project. And one of the reasons I'm starting to share more of these is this is one of those that I'm working on more frequently right now. I've put a couple of others on the back burner so I can continue working on this. This whole project is, again, telling a story through music. Okay, so I want you to be able to listen to this front to back, essentially, and evoke certain feelings and kind of get you to hear out the story, quote unquote, like imagine the story that's playing. So this is going to be a little bit more intense because it's got some kind of fast-paced piano, chiptune, and drums all put together. So let's listen to this one. Yeah, Tyler, you hit the nail on the head. Big fight scene. Yeah, yeah. If again, even if you play Pokemon, that's an RPG. It's just capture. It's the same. It's literally the same thing, capturing monsters. But I'm more one to play the RPGs where you level up the main characters. But yeah, a big fight scene is supposed to be happening there. So what I wanted to show you real quick for this, okay? This one I adjusted a little bit as well. So you hear this? You hear it's kind of got that like extra stabbing sound. I made a couple of adjustments, so I had to change the delay, and I made a little bit of adjustment to the brightness, and that the bright on this track, and on the bright on in this program, what that does. It kind of adds a little like extra layer of kind of like a pitch to it in the background, and you can really have a lot of fun with that. I don't mess around with the glide too much. It's just being silly. But yeah, so that's some of what I've worked on for for the stream. More glide, yeah, more glide. I could get really goofy. Get really goofy. Let me find, where's the track I just listened to, number 9? Yeah. Watch this. I'm not gonna really save it, but that's all it does. You hear it kind of gliding along. Then I can add noise. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm not going to save that just so I don't, yeah, that'd be sad if I did that. Okay, so yeah, so honestly, everybody, thank you. I'm going to be calling it a night for tonight, but thank you again for joining. So I got a couple things. Sunday, it's typically about 1:30 or 2 o'clock. I honestly haven't, I'll admit, I have no shame admitting I don't have a set time for Sundays, but I do like some type of Twitch stream of a game, of whatever game that I feel like playing. So last week, thanks Tyler. Last week it was this past week I should say, we played Into the Breach. One of my all-time favorite games, I will tell you, that's got like one of the best soundtracks is Darkest Dungeon. So I may be playing that this coming up Sunday because I absolutely love that soundtrack. I think that's one of the better like audio, games with audio in it than I've played in a while. Like, I still get hooked on all the narration, everything like that. So we may be playing that Sunday, and then next Tuesday night is when I think that's where I'm going to start working on. We're going to just really, we may do a live track for a little bit, but I think what we might also do is we'll start talking about what I mentioned, that Forgotten Legend that I was talking about last week. I'd like to listen to that at some point with everybody so you kind of know what I'm talking about, where I'm doing a continuation. And I want you to hear this one sound that I've tried to put throughout as many tracks as I can. Not all of them, but as many as I can to kind of tie the whole story together. So I'm going to call it a night. But again, thank you very much for joining tonight. If you happen to like this, feel free to share my link with your friends, with your family, anybody that likes to hear some video game music and really just wants to pop in and say hi to pass the time while we're still all, getting through the old Rona season. So I hope all of you have a happy New Year, and I really do hope you have a safe and healthy New Year, and definitely enjoy yourselves this coming Thursday night. I can't wait for the next year coming up, and I will definitely talk to you later. All right, have a good rest of your night.